For the latest information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/coronavirus.
Good morning. My name is Carla Collins, and I oversee the Office of Gender-Based Violence Prevention for the County of Santa Clara. Thank you for joining us this morning. I want to start with a quick update on new cases in Santa Clara County. We do have 40 new cases and unfortunately 4 new deaths since last reported, bringing us to a total of 1,833 positive cases in Santa Clara County and a total of 69 deaths. You can get more information on all of this on our COVID dashboard at our website at sccgov.org. So right now, there are just a few things that we can all be doing to flatten the curve, to keep our community safe, and to ultimately lessen the number of deaths from COVID-19. It's important that absolutely everyone shelter in place to protect yourself, to protect your family, and ultimately to protect our community. So if you must go out, please practice social distancing, and we encourage everyone to wear face coverings. I want you to know that we're keeping our space between ourselves here right now, and we've also taken off our face coverings, and that's mostly to support our American Sign Language interpreters so that they can better see and hear us. So today, we're talking about the Office of Gender-Based Violence Prevention, and we were just established very recently, just over 6 months ago in September. We're part of the County Executive's Division of Equity and Social Justice, and our mission is to disrupt the cycles of gender-based violence and support survivors so that they receive the services that they need so that they can heal and ultimately to thrive. So we envision a community that is free from all forms of gender-based violence, including sexual assault, human trafficking, and domestic violence, which is also sometimes called intimate partner violence. Now, as I said, our only real strategy is to, in addressing COVID-19 right now, is to shelter in place, and it's absolutely essential. But what about families where home is not a safe place? We also know that there are added stresses with sheltering in place. There is incredible financial burdens that families are facing right now. All of this can negatively impact survivors and actually create circumstances where safety is further compromised. So our office has this huge task in addressing gender-based violence, but I'm very, very grateful that we're not doing this alone, and in fact, we have amazing partners throughout the county and across the community who are doing this very hard work every single day. And I'm very happy to report today that COVID-19 has not stopped this work from happening. And in fact, today joining me are 2 of our local heroes. We have Tanis Crosby, the CEO of the YWCA Silicon Valley, and Esther Pralas-Diekman, the Executive Director of Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence. And they're going to be sharing some more resources with all of us. So thank you both for joining us. And I'll start by asking Esther a question. So Esther, we know that abuse is about power and control, and that domestic violence really, it can in fact include financial, emotional, and physical abuse. But these are kind of crazy times right now that we're in, and it might look a little bit different. Can you talk about some of the ways an abuser might exert control over a victim of domestic violence and what you're seeing, maybe what some of your clients have been telling you?
Sure. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have a conversation today with my colleagues here, but also all of you out there. What we're hearing at Next Door Solutions to Domestic Violence is calls from people who are in a domestic violence situation. We're also in touch with our clients, and what we're hearing is people are very isolated right now. When our clients have been able to reach us in the past, it's usually at a time where they have some privacy during the day, people are at work. But right now, during the shelter-in-place order, the victims are often housed with the perpetrators. So it's very difficult. Sometimes their telephone calls, their computer activity, texting, all those things are being monitored by the abusing partner. So they're very isolated. It's much more difficult for them to reach out. And I think that's part of the reason why we have seen a decline in the number of calls to our crisis lines, all 5 agencies. What we're hearing from survivors is a lot of emotional abuse. People are sort of using the COVID-19 virus as an excuse to say, I want to see my kids more, I really need to see them, or my restraining order doesn't count right now because the courts are closed. So we want to be really clear that the 5 agencies in Santa Clara County that can help with domestic violence are available to help you navigate. If you have questions, if you need help, all the lines are pretty much available 24 hours a day. And if you have questions, we'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you. So now that we've heard a little bit about what some of the abuse can look like, let's talk about some of our incredible response. This question's for Tanis. We are so fortunate to have 5 amazing domestic violence agencies serving residents from Gilroy to Palo Alto and every single city and every space in between. I know the agencies work really closely together. So can you share some of your best thinking, best practices, and some safety tips for people who might be watching right now who are facing violence in the home?
Absolutely. So first of all, we want to make sure that the message gets out. So we want to encourage everybody who's watching to please amplify the message, because we know that survivors often get connected with service because they hear about it through a friend. So please help us amplify the message that help is available. Next, if you're experiencing violence, or maybe you're concerned that you may be experiencing violence and you'd like to connect with someone, we encourage you to reach out and consider creating a safety plan and to collaborate and partner with an expert when you're creating that safety plan. Unfortunately, there's 5 domestic violence agencies and 2 sexual assault agencies who want to be that partner when you collaborate together on creating that safety plan. They can help you think through your options, your choices to stay safe during this pandemic. Number 2, I want to encourage you to keep and sustain that network of support. Think of different ways and new ways you can reconnect and keep that support network strong. And then thirdly, really want to amplify what Esther said. There is help. We are available 24/7. There are 5 domestic violence agencies here ready to serve. The YWCA is one of them. Our 24-hour support line is 1-800-572-2782. We are here 24 hours a day, like next door, like the other agencies who are here to support you. So 3 things. Number 1, consider a safety plan. Number 2, continue to sustain a support network. And number 3, know that help is available. And my request to everybody watching is amplify that message.
Thank you, Tanis. So Esther, April is both Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's also Child Abuse Awareness Month. And we know that many of the clients that are coming to DV agencies are also reporting that they've been victims of sexual assault. We're fortunate, as Tanis had said, that we have our 2 rape crisis centers that are also DV agencies. In South County, that's Community Solutions, and in Central and North County, that's the YWCA. And we also know that there can be a co-occurrence of child abuse with domestic violence. So families are experiencing a lot of need right now, and maybe not even realize that there are resources out for them, particularly around issues around child abuse. What are some of the services that you might be able to offer families?
I think one of the things that is a plus about contacting any of the domestic violence agencies is that very frequently the different forms of violence, whether there's sexual assault, whether there's child abuse happening in the family, when someone is suffering from domestic violence and children are present in the home, it might be possible that those things are also happening. Our agencies have knowledge of where to connect you with help and services. If it's justice and reporting and you need to navigate the criminal justice system, we can absolutely help you with that. If that's not something that you're ready to do, but you just want to know how to stay safe, our agencies are available to help you with that too. We also know there's resources that you need that go beyond the domestic violence. A lot of our clients are reporting, I need financial assistance, I need housing, I need any number of resources. Sometimes it's very basic, especially these days, food, clothing. Those are all things that a domestic violence advocate can help with. So pick up the phone and call any of our agencies. For next door, it's 408-279-2962. If you dial 211, you can connect and get information on any of the domestic violence agencies in Santa Clara County. So that's also a very important number to share with you, 211.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Esther. So Tanis, back to you. We know, like COVID-19, DV does not discriminate. It affects people of all ages and of all backgrounds. Now, I think that the county was incredibly wise to support the Domestic Violence Advocacy Consortium when we funded sort of an initial pilot around online chatting to connect people, because sometimes there are people who would much rather type something online than pick up a phone and call a hotline. I know this started originally targeting a much younger client base, but now that we're sheltering in place, it might be something that would be a really useful tool for everyone. So can you talk to us more about Safe Chat Silicon Valley?
Absolutely, and really to amplify what Esther said, what I appreciate is that there's options. Call 211, call a domestic violence and sexual assault agency directly, and there's also a chat availability. So go to safechatsv.org. That's safechatsv.org. And there, it's a web-based application. You don't have to download a fancy app. You just go to that website and you can start chatting immediately, one-on-one, with a confidential advocate. And just as Esther said, our services are 100% confidential. And that's just the same with safechatsv.org. It's available every day except Wednesday with hours that are posted on that website, and you can get immediately connected with a confidential advocate and begin chatting online. So it's another option that's available. It's available to survivors, it's available to family members, and it's available if you have questions and you wonder if you are experiencing something that might be domestic violence or sexual assault. That's exactly what we're here to support you, and we're here. There's ways to reach out. It can be online, it can be through 211, it can be directly by contacting an agency. We want to make sure that people know that there are options, there are choices, and that there is help.
Thank you so much. A really important part of all of this too is that all of these services are free to the community. So please do not hesitate to reach out. So now to sort of wrap up a bit, these are really difficult times. It's especially true for people who are sheltering in place with and are in abusive relationships. So I'm grateful that our county has made incredible investments in our community organizations, and that you're all doing the important work so that survivors can heal. We live in a community where all of our partners and stakeholders have been working together actually for decades to be trauma-informed and survivor-centered, so that everyone can be safe. So as we wrap up this Facebook Live segment, I want to give each of you the opportunity to give some final words of support or advice, especially for those who are living in violence right now, and so that people can get the help that they need. Esther, would you like to start?
Sure. I'd like to say to the people that are out there living in a domestic violence situation, whether you're male, female, a member of the LGBTQ community, is we're already living in a very lonely and isolating time with the shelter-in-place order in effect. But you're not alone. If you call any of the domestic violence agencies in Santa Clara County, help is available 24 hours a day. Take the first step, pick up the phone, call us, go on our Safe Chat, or reach out for some help. Do so when it's safe, be aware of your surroundings, and we are here for the long term and encourage you to reach out to us.
Thank you, Esther. Tanis, some final thoughts?
Well, just like COVID-19, the signs of domestic violence and sexual assault may not always be visible. And for many survivors, feelings of isolation have been in place for years, and it's being compounded by COVID-19. So really just know that there is help, there are options, and we encourage you, if you are experiencing, and you may not know if this is domestic violence or sexual assault, we are here to help you. We are here to support development of safety plan 24/7. Contact us. And if you would like to help us spread that message, we need you to do so. Can we count on you to get this message out? That would certainly help us in making sure that anyone who has questions about domestic violence and sexual assault or human trafficking has the opportunity to connect. So please help us amplify the message that help is here, that services are available, and that together we can make sure that our community is safer.
Thank you so much, Tanis. So while people are encouraged to stay at home, may feel isolated, you may feel isolated from your friends and family. Even in the isolation of sheltering in place, please try to maintain social connections online or over the phone. And if it is safe to do so, try to stick to your daily routines as much as possible. Please also reach out to the resources that we've shared with you. You can call or go online to reach any of our agencies. You can find this and more information at www.sccendviolence.org, or simply call 211 and get the details. Remember, as Esther and Tanis have said, you are not alone, and we are here to help you. So thank you so much, Tanis. Thank you so much, Esther. And thank you all for joining us today. Please stay safe.
For the latest information regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Cupertino, please visit cupertino.org/coronavirus.